Unfortunately for Greg, he didn't have a direct flight into Pennsylvania. He was going to have a brief layover in Newark, New Jersey.
In the morning, he shows up for the flight, checks in, hands them the 2 locked containers, tells them it's a firearm and ammunition.
They slap the handcuffs on him and they arrest him. They throw him in a squad car. The next day, they transfer him to the notorious Essex County Jail, where he is thrown in with some of the most hardened, violent criminals you can imagine. And the guards are going, what did this guy do to get in here? You could just tell this was, a true fish out of water. He's just, a nervous wreck.
He has to sleep on a mattress that is covered in vomit. Luckily, there was a Jamaican drug dealer who took a liking to Greg and protected him. But he spent the next 3 days there until his family could arrange bail. He has medication for migraines and high blood pressure. The authorities refuse to allow him to take his medication. In the meantime, other inmates are taking illegal drugs in the cell.
He had to have $15,000 for his bail, but wasn't allowed to go through the normal bail bonds process. He had to come up with cash over a weekend from his family all the way across the country back in Utah. He also not only needed the cash for the bail, he had to pay in advance for a bounty hunter to come track him down in Utah now that he's decided to start this life of crime at 57 years of age. And by the time he gets out of jail, total of 4 days later, he's out 20 grand and facing years in jail. He just needs some time to clear his head. He actually ends up going to Pennsylvania, picking up the car, driving it back home, thinking, what is going to happen? He gets back in Utah, and the days go by, the weeks go by, months go by. Finally, 4 months later, they drop the charges.
The prosecutor dismissed the charges because there are no charges. He was, again, Greg was perfectly lawful in all his conduct. He was in full compliance with federal law. And so they dismissed the charges, but they refused to return his firearms.
They've kept the gun, the ammo, the cases, the locks, the holster, everything.
So he applied to the NRA Civil Rights Defense Fund for funding.
The NRA Board of Directors established the fund in 1978, so been around 35 years. The fund was established to become involved in legal cases involving firearms owners. You might have people facing, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in legal bills, and where are they going to turn?
So Greg's case is just one of many. We provided funding, got him an attorney, and he finally was able to get his firearms back a year later.
I would say that the effect of this case is twofold. A lot of people now are familiar with the Firearms Owner Protection Act and the protection it affords. People who may be traveling with their firearms, as well as local police. Also, it's made people well aware, you go to Los Angeles, you go through, New York, New Jersey, you may not have those protections. One of the interesting things in this case, the court said, well, what should you do when you find yourself in this situation? What you need to do, you're going to go up to the police and the airport personnel and say, hey, I need you to hold my gun for me overnight and I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up. Good? Good? I hope that when you have a law that's written to clearly protect gun owners, that it's actually read to protect gun owners.